Open Source Sustainable Living and World Change. One Community Weekly Progress Update, number 686.
One Community is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are creating open source and free shared blueprints and resources, tools and tutorials, and do-it-yourself instructions for highest good living. Creating solution models that create additional solution creating models in the service of all life on this planet. This includes highest good approaches to food, energy, housing, education, for-profit and non-profit business creation, society, and earth stewardship.
Welcome back, beautiful people. My name is Jay, and this is our May 11th, 2026 edition of our Weekly Progress Update. And today what I want to talk about is open source, sustainable living, and world change. And the reason why I want to talk about open source, sustainable living, and world change is because we think that open source, sustainable living, and world change go hand in hand. And we say that because we are creating open source tools, tutorials, resources, do-it-yourself instructions for all aspects of sustainable living, which are the physical foundations of sustainability combined with the emotional foundations of sustainability. And so that's food, energy, and housing in the physical. And then for the emotional, what we like to call highest good approach to fulfilled living, education, economics, and stewardship. And we're putting all these together because we see them as not only the foundations for world change, but because we see them as not only interrelated, but as interdependent. And that's what makes them the foundations for world change. And I want to talk about why that is. So like the physical foundations of sustainability, everybody is familiar with what these are, right? Food, energy, and housing. Like everybody recognizes like, okay, these are the foundations that people need to survive. And so in a lot of places in the world right now, that is what people are focused on. It's just on survival. And a lot of choices are being made right now that are not sustainable. People are still, a large percentage of the human population is still lighting their homes with oil lamps, as an example, poisoning their environment just to have light. And that's not necessary. And building homes out of toxic materials. Well, here in developed nations where, there's a wealth and abundance, we're still building homes with toxic materials, as an example. But those physical foundations are only part of the picture. Once you address these physical foundations of sustainability, then how do you focus on like really thriving? How do you maximize the richness over riches of life? How do you maximize the pleasure of living? And that is what the emotional foundations of sustainability are. And so at One Community, we've actually studied this. We studied the 6 human needs, and those 6 human needs as foundations of happiness. And there's certainty and comfort. That's the first one. Variety, love, connection, significance, contribution, and growth. These are the 6 human needs that have been studied and shown to be the foundations of true happiness and feeling and fulfillment. And so we have integrated those into the One Community model, and what we've discovered, which is really interesting, and doing a lot of research and hundreds of thousands of hours of research and design for the complete project, we've identified that by building a radically sustainable foundation with food, energy, and housing, not only do we massively increase the health of our environment, not only do we significantly reduce the cost of our environment, not only do we eat the healthiest, freshest, most diverse food possible, build homes that are built without toxic materials that are more attractive, healthier to live in, and last longer, but we can also create an environment that is more enriching and healthier for the human spirit, for the human soul, for the human experience as a whole. And that's what these emotional foundations are all about. It's about creating a culture of fulfilled living and personal growth and an environment that supports that. It's about an education program that is built and designed using the most progressive and advanced education models in the world and putting all those together to create a kid-centric learning style, like the ability to learn instead of just knowledge-based education program, creating free thinkers, creative thinkers, the next generation of people that will determine what happens on this planet. It's about for-profit, non-profit, and resource-based economic models, which are sharing-based economic models, in the case of a resource-based economy, and how to implement those for the benefit of everybody utilizing them, so we have more of the things that we want to use, and through the rest of this model, more time to do the things that we want to do. And then, of course, the stewardship component of our project, which includes software for managing all of this, but also the details of how to maintain your home, the most sustainable companies and products in the world, objectively identified by an organization that has no connection to any of these companies, has no financial benefit or incentive, has done just objective research, putting teams of engineers on the process of identifying what is the most sustainable hand dryer, toilet, urinal, paint, primer, adhesives, flooring, insulation, faucets, shower heads, all these different things we've done the research on and identified objectively what is the most sustainable approach as part of our stewardship model. And so for us, open sourcing sustainable living and world change is about taking all of these things and putting them all together into one model and to create the best living model we can possibly imagine. Working together to open source and free share that so that it is easy enough, affordable enough, and building it and demonstrating one community is attractive enough so that the idea will spread its own, and open sourcing all these sustainable components so that people have access to them so that they can implement them either as the complete teacher demonstration community, village, city, or hub, so that we can build a global cooperative and collaborative of these hubs working together, or so that people can take the individual components within each of the components. So maybe grow something that you've never grown before, or design a microgrid, or build a home like a guest home or something like that is built with non-toxic materials and built to last longer and to be more artistic and beautiful than a traditional home, or to manage the social architecture components to implement the different aspects of the culture of personal growth that I've talked about, or the home-based education program, or resource-based economy. Each one of these components has components within them that can be individually implemented or as a complete component. And so our idea for open sourcing sustainable living and world change is to build one community as a prototype, to maintain one community as a 30% of one community, so that people can visit and experience what it is that we're creating and be able to have access globally to all the open source tools and plans and resources and do-it-yourself instructions, so they can replicate this anywhere in the world without ever having to interact with us. But if they like to experience it, to be able to come to one community, experience what it is that we've created, and see that everything within the environment is open source and free shared, so it can be replicated by them anywhere else. And then to work with other organizations that are willing to open source and free share their modifications, adaptations, and different iterations of what it is that we're doing, so that we can create even more diverse open source options, plans, versions of what it is that we're doing, so that there's something there for everyone. And so we've designed the different village models and all the different stuff that you see happening in the background of this video, so we can create something for everyone, so we have a radically sustainable building method and all the supporting infrastructure available in a format that will work in any environment. So different building methods work better in different environments. And so we have recognized that, and we've looked at the most sustainable approaches available, and we're open sourcing and free sharing versions of each of them. So no matter where it is that you're living, what kind of resources you have available to you, we will have open source plans that will work for that environment. And then our hope is to work with other organizations that may come up with other sustainability methods and models as well, that they'll open source and free share using our templates, using our website design, using our structure for comprehensively and completely open sourcing something so it can be replicated, so that they can open source their versions and add even more versions, iterations, and options as well. So this is what One Community is up to. We invite you to visit our helping page if you'd like to help out. If this sounds interesting, it's something that you'd like to do and be a part of. Visit our helping page. There's lots of ways to contribute and to join our organization, be a part of what it is that we're doing. Of course, donations are certainly appreciated. We are a 100% volunteer organization, including myself. We've worked with over 2,000 volunteers at this point. We're a nonprofit organization, non-governmental organization, and we're doing this because we want to live this way, and we want anybody else who wants to live this way to be able to do that as well. And as part of that, we are of course on all the different social media networks, so you can join us, help us share our information. Like the easiest way, obviously, to support what it is that we're doing is to like, subscribe, help us share our information, visit all the different social media networks that we are on, like our information there, help us get the word out. But more importantly, visit our blog if you'd like to see exactly what our all-volunteer team has accomplished within the last week. We have been publishing these weekly progress updates every single week for years, for over a decade, and you can see exactly what it is that we've been working on every single week, what every one of our volunteers has done and what they're contributing, what they're creating, so you can participate and be a part of what it is that we're doing by seeing the process, the development process, thought process. And we do this because we're open source. We want to make sure that everything we open source stays in the open source domain. And to do that, it's very important that we open source everything as we go. And so that's one of the reasons why we open source share everything every single week like this, is to guarantee that somebody can't patent what it is that we're creating and take it out of the open source domain. And so last but not least, visit our website. If you'd like to see exactly what it is that we put these hundreds of thousands of hours into, if something I've said sounds interesting to you, like the food designs, we have not just all the different foods that we're going to grow identified, but also recipes for how to do that, a whole process for exactly how to manage and store all of the food on the property until you can become self-sufficient, soil amendment strategies. If you're interested in the different companies and products that I mentioned, all that stuff is on our website. And so visit our website. You can basically Google One Community and sustainability, anything about sustainability, and you'll come up probably with a page that we've developed about that, focused on, how will that be implemented in these teacher demonstration hubs. So I've gone over my 10 minutes. Stick around for another couple of minutes if you'd like to see bullet points on all the major components of a project. Thank you for watching to the end. And of course, until next week, we will keep on keeping on open sourcing sustainable living and world change one step at a time with all these components to put together as a teacher demonstration hub for the highest good of all people and life on this planet. Thanks for watching to the end.
The One Community approach to highest good housing is eco-artistic home building that is affordable, sustainable, do-it-yourself duplicable, resource and space efficient, and consists of 7 different sustainably constructed village models. One Community is also creating an open-source duplicable city center. It is designed to be LEED Platinum certified, provide 12 guest rooms, dining for over 150 people, and laundry and recreation space for over 300 people, all while saving money, time, space, and resources. One Community's approach to highest good food is duplicable almost anywhere, scalable for different needs, more biodiverse and nutritious, part of forwarding a global open source botanical garden collaborative, and includes 9 different free shared and duplicable growing environments. One Community's approach to highest good education is designed for all age groups, adaptable to any schooling environment, inspiring and fun for all participants, includes national standards, all subjects, lesson plans, teaching strategies, learning strategies and tools, classroom design, and more. The One Community approach to highest good society is globally focused, individually enriching, cooperative and collaborative, includes a highest good network and application, 4 different economic models, and combines fulfilled living and true earth stewardship for the benefit of all people and all life on this planet.